Hi everybody. Been having some technical difficulties, but we are on now and I am going to look for Miss Erica Campbell. Hi guys, come on in. We are talking about faith and democracy. Because what do we know? We know faith without works is dead. And there is such a connection as we kind of wrap up Black History Month with the Black church and democracy work. So we are so excited to have this conversation today. We want you to be a part of it. Would love to see your questions, your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hi guys. I'm Stephanie Young. I'm the executive director of When We All Vote and really excited for this IG Live. So let's see if I can find Miss Erica. Because you know what? We were slow. I'm gonna give her a second to join on. Let me see. I don't see her here yet, but I am looking for her. Let's see. Hi, for those of you who are coming in the room. Thank you for being here. I see a question. My voter registration card expired. Can I vote? Make sure you're re-registered. Just go on to whenweallvote.org and check your status. Hi guys, come on in, come on in. We were talking about faith and democracy because look, it matters, it's important, and there's connections. There's historical connections, especially within the African American community. And we are rounding out Black History Month. So I got that ding from Jaylee. We're gonna make sure that my computer does not ding throughout all of this. Hi, come on in, invite people. This conversation is a part of our Black History Month programming and IG Live series, and we are talking about faith and democracy. And we're waiting for the amazing Erica Campbell. And as soon as I see her, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can request her. I'm gonna invite her to join. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Hi, please let us know where you're from in the chat. Where are you joining from? What city, what state? Oh, I see her. She just waved. Hi. Okay, I just waved back at you. That's really weird. I am going to request you to join. I just invited you one more time. Let's see if you see that, Miss Erica. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, I see Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. All right. Atlanta's representing. I'm from Atlanta. We'll talk about that in a hot second. Where else are y'all from? Southern California. I'm currently in LA, so that's all good. Let's see if I can invite. I'm inviting you one more time. Let me know if you see that. And hi to everybody who's waving. I see Georgia Peaches. Where else are you all calling from? You know what? We're having a hard time today because, oh, here she is. Here she is. It was our technical difficulty at first, but I believe that she's here now. Uh-oh.
Hey.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for your patience with technology. We love you over here at When We All Vote. We're so excited that you're taking this time out of your very busy schedule to join us.
I'm just cooking dinner. We're making tacos tonight, so I told my husband to hold it down while I talk to you guys.
Oh, good. Well, look, I'm coming over because I just moved to LA. I don't know if Missy told you that, so. But no, we are so excited to talk with you today. Erica, obviously you are an amazing artist. You have such a big platform now, especially with your show. We just saw you on the Super Bowl singing the Black National Anthem. You are literally one of my favorite gospel artists. As I was getting ready, I was like, I'm walking. I can't sing, but I did sing in the choir because I was forced to sing in the choir growing up. And today we're here to talk about faith and democracy because they actually go hand in hand, especially within the African American community. Absolutely. And our history with the Black church really leading movements and really leading, especially when it comes to making sure that our community is just registered and actually ready. Up on my screen, so I apologize for that.
Okay.
But at any rate, you know, one of the people that we focus on within the faith community is within the voting rights community and faith, which is John Lewis, the former or the late Congressman John Lewis, who had such an incredible legacy. And he said this, I want to quote this. He said, "In my estimation, the civil rights movement was a religious phenomenon," because it was. It was about ensuring that we all had equal access to the ballot box, equal access to whatever this country provided. And that's what God has always wanted for us. So I'm a PK. My dad was a senior bishop in the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
Oh, wow.
And yes, so I grew up in AME, and our denomination was born through revolutionary theology, right? Through protest to ensure that African Americans had a place and had a church to call their own. Yeah. And I would love, look, I know your fans know who you are, but I would love for you to just give a brief history of I know you're Kojic, your background within the faith community as well.
Yeah. So I grew up in Inglewood, California, a big family of 9. And my mom and dad even took care of more kids. So there was always a lot of us and not a lot of money. So I understand the economic challenges that come with big families, and living in a neighborhood where there's not a lot of money infused, you can tend to be hopeless. But what I love about faith being infused in our democracy is Jesus, the scripture says he came to set the captives free. And sometimes to our ignorance, we're captive to our financial issues, we're captive to our ghettos, not realizing that we have a voice and we have value, and who we are in our cities and neighborhoods makes a difference. And so my parents were not greatly politically motivated, but I heard conversation growing up. And once me and my sisters got older, we just started paying attention. I think I really started paying attention until, might have been Clinton. It might have been years when I really started, paying attention to the conversation and to the language. I do remember the Just Say No era, and learning things like that. So my faith and my activism have always kind of been hand in hand. I grew up singing and giving food and ministering to people in less fortunate areas. That's what my father did. My father went to all of the he went to jails, but he also went to juvenile facilities. So my relationship with this has been since I was a young girl. And so me being able to sing music that allowed me to reach the unchurched was intentional as well. Well, I love church people. I love going to church and singing with church people. It's something special about the good unchurched people. They don't know all the language, clap on beat, but they've got this heart and passion where they just believe. And that's what's in the work that you do, to believe that change is possible, to believe that transformation is possible. It's been so much a part of my life. I mean, it's in all my songs. In the morning, you'll be all right. I just can't give up now. That belief has always been a part of my life. Yeah. Whenever I'm called to have conversations like this, I'm always like, yeah, I can do this, even though I got a million things going on. And sometimes I'm asking my team, now, what time do I get on that?
I know, like, what did I sign up for again? Why am I doing this?
But there's purpose. And I've had that kind of experience throughout my life. Even if you don't have a lot of money, you have purpose. Yeah. And so sometimes when people see organizations like this, they think, oh, Michelle Obama, that's very far reaching. But it really reaches you right where you are. If you want liberty, if you want justice, if you want equality in your neighborhood, you need to get educated, informed, and be a part.
Absolutely.
And here today with you.
Well, I love that. And for those of you who just joined us, obviously, this is the lovely, amazing Erica Campbell. I'm Stephanie Young. I'm the executive director of When We All Vote, which is Michelle Obama's nonpartisan, nonprofit voting initiative. And we are on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election. And we know we cannot do that without the faith community, and especially the Black church. One thing I just want to touch on, as you were talking about your history, when my dad was elected in 1992, we moved to South Africa. And in 1992, apartheid was just ending. Nelson Mandela was just released. And that was his first assignment, the 15th Episcopal District, which was South Africa, Namibia, and Angola. So I got to see the first democratic elections there. Our denomination played a major role in voter education and activation. And I had no idea how that was, really fueling me and, my passion. And I grew up understanding that faith without works is dead, and that we are our brother's keeper. We have to take care of the people, not just the people we love, but the people that we share this space with. And I think so often people get, especially for some reason in this country, it's all about you. and it's about your family and it's about your kids, but it cannot be, because we're not going to be able to grow as a nation. We're not going to be able to protect democracy. We're not going to be able to do all the things that we want to do and thrive in the ways that we want to thrive if our neighbor is not thriving. And I love what you talked about, how your father was ministering in prisons and using his faith really in his life. And I think that sometimes people think, well, you know, I go to church and I pray and, you know, Jesus, that's it. Oh, okay. But what are you doing for others? What are you doing?
Equip us. And I think that's the part that people miss. Jesus came to equip us for this long battle. It's not a short battle. It's a long one. You know, I know a lot of people are, you know, a little disheartened at it still being some of the same problems as it was, you know, years ago. But we need younger voices. We need passionate voices to keep carrying the torch and keep voting and keep changing and keep pushing, because there's always an evil force, right? There's always a force coming against us. But when we understand our power is in the unity, in coming together, like you said, not thinking from an individual perspective. I look at it like this. Like, I live on a street. If I was the only one that cared about my house and my yard, my street would have no value. But because my neighbors care about the neighborhood too, because my neighbors cut their grass, you know, then the value of our neighborhood goes up, because my neighbor care about, you know, is there something, you know, a old couch left on the, because when your neighbors care, it brings value to all of us. So when our churches and our cities and our schools, when we unify, there's power, and they can't ignore the power. Right?
Absolutely. And that's what, honestly, that's what they're trying to do right now. I'm sure you're aware, but there's over 500 voter suppression bills that have either been introduced, some have passed in places like Florida, Georgia, also Texas. And a lot of these bills attack early voting. And we, as a community, are really known to vote early, especially on Sundays. My dad pushed, I don't know how many souls to the polls situations that I've been a part of, but that was always a tradition to ensure that we go and we work together, and it was interdenominational. So we all got together, everybody got their church bands together to get as many people as possible, even, you know, big, tour bands that you would have been on, like going on tour, to get as many people as possible to the polls. And they're attacking that tradition right now. And I don't know if people really understand what's happening, but it really is an all hands on deck moment to recognize in certain states all around this country that they're trying to stop that power that you just mentioned, because we really are powerful together. And what I love about the faith community is that we are a family, and we are here to support, lift each other up, but also to make sure that we're getting ourselves, not just to vote, but to the polls, but to ensure that we are active players within our community so that we're making it better holistically. And there's so much that you can do, especially for those who might not follow us and this is the first time you're introduced to When We All Vote. Erica's been an amazing ambassador, but we have opportunities for you to work with us to ensure that not only are you registered, but your communities are registered, your churches are registered, and we'll give you opportunity to fight against the voter suppression that I just spoke about as well. You mentioned this briefly, Erica, about your music. And how, you know, you've used it to, you know, reach the masses. That's one thing I absolutely love about music, is that there is no race, there is no, you know, gender, there's no association with it. And when you hear your music in particular, you're inspired to take action, not just in your personal life, but I think in, you know, the community at large. You know, as you're looking at, you know, your career and your next steps and all of the work that you're doing, you know, what is inspiring you, especially, you know, kind of in this social justice moment in this space, creatively?
It's people. I'm motivated by people and their stories and their joy and even their pain. Knowing that I could sing a song that can encourage or challenge or uplift or help someone get to the next phase and stage in life. I've heard so many amazing testimonies, and I know that doing this is a part of my purpose. It's not all of my purpose, but it's a great part of my purpose. It's the reason people know me now is because of this music. And so as long as God will allow me to write songs that will uplift and encourage, that's what I'll do. So my next single that's coming out, I believe March 19th, next week, it's called Positive. It's called Positive. And the this song and this title is because COVID took that word from us. And so now to be positive is now a negative thing. But I don't think heaven got the memo. I think positive still means positive. And I still think that we can take that word back and change our language. We can speak positive. We can think positive. We can act in positive ways that not only benefit us as individuals, but all of us. And so I'm super excited about this song, about the power of the message, about thinking that way. You know, sometimes people are always thinking about what can go wrong, but if there's something that could go wrong, there's always something that can go right. And so
Absolutely.
that way, it kind of pulls you up, even in the low times, and even when you're a little bit discouraged, and we all get discouraged, it's normal that you got to have something to hold on to. Literally, when people ask me, am I okay? And I'm not, my answer is always no, but I will be. Like, and I say that, you know, I don't ignore the problem. I don't say I'm okay when I'm not. If someone's texting me saying, hey girl, you okay? I go, no, but I will be, because I have to acknowledge what is, because God can't heal feel. And so sometimes you have to put it in a song and sing it. There's been songs like Bishop Hezekiah Walker, There's Nothing Too Hard for God, Power Belongs to God song has moved me. Ty Tribbett's song, Victory, is one of my favorites. There's a line that I lean on. Every situation I face, I win. And it doesn't matter how long you have faced the situation, you have to declare victory, and you have to declare that you're going to win. And so I wrap that all up in a song, and sometimes I have to use my own song. Sometimes I've literally got in my car with tears and reminding myself of what I said. There's a song on my solo record called Looking Like, and the words say it's looking like I'm going to make it through this. And I have to say that to myself, because you don't always feel like it. And I understand
you don't always feel like
what's going on in our, it's easy to feel like it's going to be like this forever, 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 ever.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what's so special is that music has always brought us over, especially, I mean, if you think about the history of our people in this country and the songs that they would sing that we still sing to this day, you know, music has always been that kind of guiding light and that force to fuel us in the darkest moments. And I mean, like everything you just mentioned is absolutely true. And for those of you who are listening and today or watching, and who's doing good work in your community, it can get discouraging, especially right now when, you know, what I mentioned, there's 500 voter suppression bills, they're trying to stop this, they're trying to stop that. You know, we still are dealing with COVID. There's so much happening, and there's a heaviness all around and an exhaustion that music is honestly the only thing that gives us, you know, encouragement. I got to encourage myself. That's Donna Lawrence. I have to sing that song all the time.
Me too.
Yes, yes. So a couple of things. One, you know, women have played such an amazing role in, like, obviously in our faith and in this movement at large. I would love to talk to you about, you know, what role, you know, have some of the women in your lives played, especially around, you know, social justice. I know that you come from a big family. I watched your shows. I know, is it Mama Tommy?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, so I know that you have a matriarch in your family, and there's people that, you know, are motivating, that have motivated you and inspired you. And I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
You know, I think it's been their resilience and their determination and the fact that they don't take no for an answer that has allowed me to be the woman that I am, especially all my sisters. There's this fire that we have, and I know for sure that we got it from not just my mother, but my aunts and from other women who were in our neighborhood. At our church, we had a rehab. And I remember we had 2 houses behind our church, and so those people will be a part of the church. But to see them patient with these people, praying, there was noonday prayer. I was out of high school. It was noonday prayer, and they would come and they would work with these women and men, and they would, you know, get them clothes and get them prepared to be reintroduced to the world sober. You know what I mean? And that fire stirred something in me, like, wow, they never threw people away. They never gave up on people. Even to this day, my mother still wants to save the world. We're like, Mama, it's your time for us to take care of you. But still, she wants to help people. Literally, she'll be like, oh, well, so-and-so's going to stay with me for a while. We go, well, Mom, no, that's not going to happen.
Not happening. Not in a global pandemic.
Nah, but you know, that drive and that need to help, those seeds were planted not only in me and my sisters, but so many other people. And so that's what I remember. I remember that I stand on the shoulders of great women. I remember what was done for me. And so I want to make sure that I pay it forward. I want to make sure that I'm giving, you know, I'm blessed, this platform that I have. I want to make sure that I'm opening doors for other women so they can see that you can be married and have kids and not be crazy. You can be in the entertainment industry and you don't have to be a bee. You know, you can be successful and beautiful, and you don't have to be nasty and mean to people. And when those seeds have been planted in my life, I want to do the same for somebody else. But yes, greatly inspired by their passion and their drive and their desire to be better and to do better, even from how they dressed and how they looked. There was just so much. Even when you look at some of the marches and you look at Coretta Scott walking down the street, or the way Michelle Obama, there's this class.
A regalness and elegance.
Oh,
Yes.
and I want that. I want to show that to my daughters because it's kind of going away a little bit. But I think there's still something very special about looking the part and fighting for justice, but having this regalness on the inside of you that just shines without you saying a word. Like, you look at a picture of Coretta Scott King and you know she's a queen. You know it. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
I want to be that for someone, and because it's inspiring, it's motivating, you know, and it challenges you to let that own spirit of being a queen rise up within you, you know, or king. Yes. I know been on here too.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, understanding that we did get a late start, and y'all are cooking tacos and all of those things. But I just want to touch on a couple more things. One, I've heard, you know, growing up and dealing with certain people, sometimes folks would say, oh, you know, I'm not into politics. I don't want to talk about this, and God will handle it. And, you know, we don't need to be in this. You know, there are some faiths that don't believe in voting too. You know,
really?
Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote. Yeah. They don't believe in participating, and yeah, they don't. So, I mean, that's just a fact. That's what it is. So I think that sometimes, you know, people in the faith community can take a back seat, even though historically all of our organizing came from church. It just did. It came from the Black church, our educational systems, from our HBCUs. You know, the AME Church started many schools, CME schools. There's also Seventh-day Adventist schools. So, you know, the church has really been the bedrock of our community in a way. And it pains me to see when especially folks in the African American community, turn around and say, we don't want to really be a part of that. I'm proud to say that my dad was a revolutionary theology preacher, and, you know, he connected justice to his messages and to the work that he did. And, you know, it was all linked together. What would you say to someone in the faith community who felt like they don't really need to play a role here in society in this way, and that things will settle itself?
I think justice and Jesus go hand in hand. I think if he came to set the captives free, then we should be trying to set people who are bound, set them free. I think our voice is necessary. I think, unfortunately, that we are dealing with the effects of slavery and what was put in our mind, and we just worry about Jesus and just let Jesus sort it all out. But the scripture tells us faith without works is dead, right? Just literally walked to places. He didn't just sit in one place and go, heal them over there, bless them over there. You know, the people, he was in their faces. He went to these places. And so why do we think that we don't have to, right? And you can't complain about a neighborhood you aren't willing to fight to change. You know, you complain about a school system when you never go to a school board meeting, or you won't vote for the superintendent of school. So it's not just voting for president. It's all the little elections that go. If you don't like what's on the corner in your neighborhood and you never say anything, why doesn't your faith challenge you to do more? Yeah. You can't pray from the comfort of our homes. We have to do something. You know, like I was talking about being busy as I am, I still know that I have a responsibility, especially with the platform that I have. But there's people who don't have platforms that have made huge differences. Like the women that I know who, you know, worked in all kinds of areas here in Los Angeles that made a difference. And their name might not ever get called, but we will feel the effects, the ripple effect of the work they did. So I feel like every church should have some area, some department, some ministry where you focus, how are we making a difference in this community? How are we challenging people to vote, to speak up? If we know that there's someone toxic in office, are we voting to get them out? Some of you have politicians in your church.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of politicians who masquerade as Christians.
Right.
But don't believe in Christian values, meaning, like, you know, they don't believe in the value of our lives.
Right.
They believe in the value of maybe someone else's life. They believe in violence. I mean, there's so many things that, like,
are Christian.
Yeah, that have been, I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. And what's frustrating for me sitting on this side sometimes is that I feel like Christianity has been hijacked in different ways. And I know there's extremism in every faith. But it is masquerading as, well, I'm a Christian, so therefore I believe what? That I don't deserve the same type of life that you have? That I'm less than you? Right. What? So I think that we have to reclaim Christianity and Christian values and do it in a more aggressive way, because I feel like it's been taken over since, I mean, probably in the started in the 70s. I mean, it's just been creeping up. And now we're at a point where people who call themselves Christian are hateful. Period. And so,
and real righteous people with loving hearts, with Christ-like mindsets and characteristics need to be bold. A lot of times we figure we can keep our Christianity to ourselves, but how do we change if he told us to go into the highways and hedges and compel men to come in? How do we do that if we don't want to bother? I don't want to offend. Everybody else is speaking up for what they believe. Everybody else is shouting from the rooftops. I think Christians should be bold about our faith. What does that mean to be bold about our faith? It does not mean telling someone else who they're not. It does not mean telling someone they're going to hell. It means telling people about the love of Jesus, how life-changing it is, how liberating it is. It means that you can literally change lives with the love of Jesus. And so as we are bold about who we are and using our voice to vote and change the world that we live in, I think we see the difference that we're looking to see, because you don't see it if you're locked in your house.
No,
as long as me and my right.
Right. You absolutely don't. And you also don't see it when you are blocking other people from being able to live the lives that they deserve, just like you do. Right. And I think that I'm excited about really having more conversations like this within the faith-based community about our collective responsibility, and taking back the narrative around Christianity and what it is and what it's not, and really standing up for our beliefs. And one of the songs that I absolutely love, that you and your sister sung with Karen Clark Sheard, "We Are Not Ashamed of the Gospel." I love that song. Like, I listen to that in the morning sometimes, because, you know, that's what my work, I feel like, is. It is my faith in practice. And every day I get to live out my faith by ensuring that I'm helping someone else. Yes. And that makes me feel good. And I think that it just pains me sometimes when I used to work on Capitol Hill, worked at White House. It just pains me sometimes to see politicians posture in a way, and say who they believe in, and then act and treat people bad. I can't deal with that. Well, look, we've taken up a good 30 minutes of your time with your family, and we absolutely appreciate you for standing in the gap, being a voice for the voiceless, and also using your platform to reach people in a multitude of different ways. And you've always been such a positive light. So I want to personally thank you for that. I want to thank you on behalf of Michelle Obama for being here with us today and for continuing to use your voice. And I'd love to give you an opportunity to give one more final message of encouragement, because I do think we are, as I mentioned, just in a heavy time. And we need everybody in this fight. And this is a righteous fight to be a part of. So would love to hear any final words.
You know, I just want people to make sure that they understand that we won't stay low forever. I know we're coming out of the pandemic. We see a lot going on. We see injustice. And it's like, what are we fighting for? But if you give up the fight, what do you have? You know, you have to stay in there, and you have to realize that you're not in alone. So what's happening in my mind is there are people in pockets across the country that are doing things. But as maybe your news sign on to When We All Vote Today, maybe you just seen this for the first time. They've been doing work, and there are other organizations being worked. So whether you join this one or another one, join some organization that allows you to use your voice. If you are a believer, your faith challenges you to use your voice. Listen, even though we don't all believe the same thing, we all want the same thing. That is liberty, that's justice, that's peace. We want fairness. We want good neighborhoods. You know, we want good hospitals. We want great grocery stores. We want good schools. We all want the same thing. So why not? Let's come together, not about which side of the aisle you're on, but just justice and fairness for all of us. Takes our voices, takes our votes. So I pray that you guys all understand there's power when we all vote. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we look forward to everybody getting off the pews and coming outside with us and doing this work. And we cannot wait to organize in churches and in communities all around this country with people of faith to help get the vote out and to ensure that people are more civically engaged holistically. So thank you, Miss Erica Campbell. We love you. Thank you so, so much. And have a great rest of your day.
I have to have a girl moment. Your skin is flawless.
Oh, thank you. I just got a tan in Mexico, so I feel like I got a little bit of a glow here. But thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You are glowing.
Thank you. See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye.